Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Note that energy is fluid. Roles can be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates. Also know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the reading, so we do look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, see how they play out as karmic themes. This will allow you to understand why everything's playing out the way that it is. All right, I'm going to keep that short today. If you've been following me for a while, you know already. I do look at everything, but again, we're going to go deep. Now, if you want to enter into any free reading with me, you have to be open to going deep. I mean, deep isn't bad. Deep just means that, you're going to uh, dive deep into the shadow aspects of yourself. And when you are deep within that aspect of yourself, due to an experience that you're living, again, because whatever's happening on the outside is actually what's happening on the inside, right? We know that from within is without. Well, it's that every relationship is potentially there to help you evolve back into your natural energy, your most natural basic form, which is unconditional love. Okay, so again, understanding that allows you to realize that every single relationship actually does have significance. You might just say, well, what the hell was that? That made no sense. Well, again, that might be an aspect of yourself that, again, your relationships don't make any sense, or there's something about you that doesn't make any sense. So again, if you want to enter into winning free reading with me, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is I can't speak. The word of the video is always on the first card that comes out, and this is it's empathy, it's sensitivity, it's empathy. Um, that's the underlying energy. That's actually on a positive for once. We're gonna pull also another one, not because I want to see negativity, but it's like I want to go deep. So it like empathy, sensitivity, right? That's ESP through the heart and mind. It's like I can still feel you. It's like this is a past life, karmic mate. But again, I feel like it's only because this person hasn't learned. People have to evolve. They don't automatically do that. Life situations actually make them change perceptions. People have the power to influence. That's really what a past life karmic mate is. A lot of times we just know it as this person influenced my life as like it was the worst version that my life could actually live because they, have a lot of spiritual blocks, but those blocks are pretty much going to trigger all of your blocks to help you become aware. A lot of times we don't get caught up in that. We get caught up in what the experience of what's happening, trying to fix the external instead of fix the internal. So again, empathy, sensitivity, soulmate, past life, karmic mate. So again, that this is just the underlying energy, which isn't even anything except for that there's a spiritual connection. So you may be feeling like you're dealing with someone that's not really evolved. It's funny. It's like this card always comes out and it's like, okay, yeah, like we already know that about soulmate. But again, the negativity. And the negativity is that it's like this person, even though you know that there's love, there's this energy like this person isn't a good person. There's they're negative, and part of it's a choice also to like learn. This person chooses not to learn. So when a person gives up their right to learn, to grow, to change, even though it's going to be uncomfortable to do so. If they're connected to you, they're going to expect you to live from that same level of consciousness. It's like, and after a while, they're actually going to make it feel where you'll feel as if you're doing something wrong if you go up against it. So that's why, like, there's a sense of that obviously is a karmic mate because it depends on what you do. Like, did you learn that spiritual lesson before? Because that's happened before. It's like a reoccurring karmic loop. Now, reading style is a little bit different today. I don't know why. Okay, so again, dealing with this person, it was reckless. They were very reckless. They were just wanted to act like a bad boy, bad girl, wanted to, like, you're not going to tell me what to do, like living like tomorrow was always going to be there. Why I say that, it's like as we get older, a lot of times we become more cautious. This person has become less cautious, as they get older. And so that means running around with a lot of different people, talking to a lot of different people, drinking and driving, drinking and like on the job, like doing things that you just, why are you doing it? It's like a self-sabotage, almost like just because you can, because it's like an addiction. And this is where the negativity comes from. So a person can actually like understand what they've gone through in trauma, but not realize the habits and the behaviorisms that come from living in trauma. So it's like this person wants to be a good person. There is a spiritual connection. There is a knowing that's of the highest energy. So you say, well, why don't they just step into their true self? Well, it's what the person's comfortable with. The everyday humdrum like relationship, it doesn't make this person feel safe. They create the drama with their reckless behavior. So it's like you can't focus on you because you can't trust them. So it's more about the spiritual lesson of what was the dynamic that you grew up in? Like, was this a similar dynamic? Like, did it feel uncomfortable? Because understand, sometimes we don't remember the actual trauma, but we remember the feeling of the trauma. And that's okay because you still need to acknowledge the trauma in order to integrate it. And so what happens with reckless behaviors are always being with someone that's like, like they're always deceiving. They're always like trying to get over. They're living from a survival mind. And the survival mind is like a primal mind that's like, I'm not gonna, if no one's gonna tell me what to do. So again, part of that reckless behavior is proof that no one's gonna tell them what to do. So self-sabotage. So again, being with somebody that chooses to live this way is self-sabotaging behavior. And it would be for you because knowing, okay, well, this person is always like deceiving. They never like they're always, yes, I know that they love me, but their version of love is that I should be a doormat or is that I should be, that I should have to lower my standards because you don't feel comfortable in being transparent because you don't really like that. You don't feel safe in that type of relationship because you didn't grow up in that. So you were waiting when it was calm. It was just there was a calm before the storm. It gives a lot of anxiety. And being with a person like that, it's because it's like you can't trust them. So you're like, are you lying, are you cheating? Are you like, even if nothing's happening, the person's reckless behavior, are you going to come home dead? Are you going to, and understand, like I said, if your mind is always there, it's always going to be on negativity. And that brings more and more and more negativity to you. So I understand you probably grew up in an environment that you were born into this type of energy to have to experience this energy. Because you'd be like, okay, why do I always attract people that, you know, they say that they love me, but then they have this reckless behavior, like they don't really care whether they have me or not, or they lose me, and they're all about themselves and they're more in their addictions. They're all in their, like how they deal with anxiety, where you didn't know that that's what they were doing, that they were dealing with anxiety. You just knew again of the addiction, you just knew of the behaviorism. And the behaviorism is what, gives a person say, well, this is fact. This is what you did that created the wound. And so being able to see the situation from a different perception allows you to be able to heal, allows you to be able to break generational karma a lot of times. So I feel like it's not so much to be in a connection with a person like this, because person has to want to heal, and they're rebellious about it, which is they don't want to be told. So the more that you tell them, the more that they're going to get in their own way. The more that you like, every time you think that everything's safe, it's not going to be safe. It's like because this is their type of energy. They like to be that person. They create the drama in their own relationship, and understand that becomes the person's persona. So this is really dark energy. This is like a person that it's they love, but this is very narcissistic energy, because it's like you have to have one person that's like on guard, that's the steady, that always shows up, that overgives of themselves, that doesn't have a backbone, that has to be able to be extremely flexible, with this person that's really inflexible. And so what winds up happening is, like you said, no one can stay in that energy for long periods of time. So it's all about this person get in a place of I'm stuck in my head because I don't know what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. Are you going to show up for me today? Are you not going to show up? Are you, going to go out and drink so much? Are you going to talk to somebody else? Are you going to be you're like a rebellious to love? And it's because there's a part of this person that doesn't believe they're deserving of love. They need to heal their inner child because they're very impulsive. So when a person lives from their addictions, they live from their emotions, right? And if a person is feeling negative all the time, it's draining on your energy. If you're negative, you're angry, you're resentful, you're viewing the world through a distorted perception, and the perception is never from your true self, your highest self. It's from your wounds, the things that need to be healed. So you're dealing with a person that doesn't feel good about themselves. And when a person has too many shadows from too many wounds, there's too much persona fit that the person, they haven't created themselves. So they live from their lower energy, which is all about their addictions, their desires, making them feel good. It's a reptilian mind. And so, yeah, this person is always deceiving because they're always trying to get over. That's part of the excitement. Part of the excitement is the drama. It creates this illusion and all this rebellious energy, but it's really impulsive. So it doesn't make you feel safe. So it's almost like recreating an environment that, again, you grew up in. And that could be you grew up in an alcoholic family where there was a lot of fighting that went on, or Maybe there was no alcohol. Maybe there was just a lot of fighting that went on, you know? And so there was a sense of that same energy of, not really feeling safe, not knowing how to communicate or listen to each other. That is actually also inherited. So again, this person just like lives from the impulses, which is really their addictions, their desires, what they feel like in that moment, and they don't really think about it from a balanced point of view. And the card that I said that we pulled out was empathy, and which means again that they're drawn to you because of this sensitive energy, because they know that you would be a giver. They know that you're like light. They know that you, again, nurturing, and they love all that about you, but they don't know how to give it of themselves. So they're really needy, and they again don't know how to give it to themselves. So they don't know how to give it to you. So it's again being around them it's like I said, no matter how much you give, it's not enough because you don't trust this person. They're rebellious. They're impulsive because this is what's leading them. And really what's really truly leading them is just anxiety, which is all about fear and fear from the inner child. Again, the wounds that happen in childhood. So, I mean, this person hasn't done any shadow work. Family patterns. So again, like I say, inner child wounds, not all the time does it happen in our family, but understand that it was obvious in this story it was because, like I said, they were really just coming from that survival perspective, you know, living from their lower energies. So of course being drawn to like somebody that's they know is sensitive, someone that's going to give what they didn't get. And so again, they're not breaking family patterns. What they saw was dominance. What they saw was control. What they saw was one person had all the power and the other person didn't have any power, that it's okay, that everyone played a role. This person obviously played the more of the caregiver as a child, but no one wants to play that role. It's more or less like this person felt like they needed to do that in that environment, but they don't want to be in a relationship where they're afraid that that would actually happen again. However, they keep creating the same cycle to actually keep them stuck in that pattern. And it's when a psychological reversal happens, the person has a trauma and they're so terrified of that actually happening that they just focus on it and they focus on it unconsciously and they create all the scenarios to make it actually happen. And then they don't understand how they actually played a part in that scenario. That's the issue. And it's what it comes down to. It's like I don't feel loved. I don't feel loved. So anything that even represents love is going to trigger this person, because they don't really like who they are. They don't really know who they are. Love makes us dive deep within ourselves. And that's scary for this person. Again, so it requires balance to be in a good relationship, and you're too balanced. So this person couldn't manipulate you. So a person that's not coming from a place of balance means that there would be an element of your life if you didn't have or weren't fulfilling yourself emotionally, if you weren't fulfilling yourself mentally, like on all levels, like getting fulfillment, including from friends, not just through work and through, it's through actually part of being community, part of connecting to other people. It's through the heart, it's through love, it's through, that's how we stay balanced. we stay balanced in that by keeping our heart open. This person's not balanced because they're coming from, again, that survival, that fear. They don't know that that's what they're doing, but their behaviorisms are telling us that that's what they're doing. So again, I was hearing everything through the filter of the wound, having a conversation with this person, everything's going to trigger them. They're going to see everything as criticism. They're going to see everything as um, ganging up on them because they don't think that they're good enough. So when you have constructive criticism or when you want to make the relationship like navigate the relationship so that it's more like comfortable for your needs, it's going to be a trigger because this person doesn't like change. They like everything their way. It's again where that's again primal, but that's the thing. That's what becomes boring. It's safe, but it'll bore the shit out of you because it's like it's very reliable. It's very reliable, but I need that in order to feel good about myself. And that keeps you in a place of, again, having to dumb me down because you can't voice the things that you need. You can't, express yourself. You don't feel safe to do that. So it's again creating the environment possibly that you grew up in. So we have to say why is it manifesting? There's an element of that energy that's familiar to you. And now it might not be from your parents, it might be from when you went to grammar school, it might went like it's so far back in your subconscious, but it's an energy that makes you feel uncomfortable when you tap into it. And it's again makes you feel like full of like burdens. And burdens are that. It's like it's spiritual baggage, really, that needs to be cleared. I mean, burdens are really just that. It's like we might, over time, from thinking that way, we do create a lot of burdens for ourselves, though, from continually having to overcompensate for undercompensating, for getting in our own way, for not being present, from reacting from that lower energy, where this person is like really a low vibrational person. Are they conscious of it? No, they're not conscious of it. These are inherited family patterns. So they're someone that doesn't think that there's anything wrong with them. But, you know, um, not belonging, growing up in an environment where you did not feel like you belonged, it makes you feel like you're not loved. So that is what makes a person come into the connection and try to make that scenario happen. So you can say again, why did you attract this person into your life? Maybe that's the environment that you grew up in. It's, or there's an element of it. But then there's always a higher, like calling. Again, this is the wounds and how they play out within the relationship. But is that how the person truly feels? Is that what the person feels on their soul level? A lot of times the answer is no. I mean, one part of the person speaks from the ego, and one part of self speaks from that deity part of self, which is the part of self which is God, which is that knowing, which is that I don't know how I knew that, but I just know it's a familiarity, it's a safety. So this is, I close my eyes and I imagine you're here with me. It feels so real. I'm beginning to understand. This is what it means to be in 5D with you. So this was not somebody that was a spiritual person. This is somebody that, look at things obviously more from a physical perspective, especially if they're a negative person, they're coming from survival all the time. So I feel like they were educated about spirituality. So even though they might be religious, they didn't really feel safe. They they feel like they had to create that I'm so strong, like persona, where it's because they don't really feel safe. What makes us feel safe is belonging. It's from the roots of our family. That's where they first come from. So the family patterns here is that if a child grows up in an environment where there's a lot of imbalances, and imbalance could be, again, an alcoholic family, it could be a family of infidelity, it could be any type of thing that makes one or both of the parents not present for that child. Well, it obviously makes the environment not feel safe for the child, because it's like, well, I don't feel safe to ask. I feel like when I ask for things, it's a bother, that it's a problem. If there's not enough money, the child can feel if there's not enough money. So again, like on an energetic level, we can feel whether we belong or not. That's the first instinct that a baby and a parent, whether they bond or not. So again, you could have had a parent that had postpartum depression that couldn't emotionally give to you, but it happened so long ago you don't even remember. It's again, it's a buried subconscious memory of saying, well, I never felt bonded. I never felt close to my parent. It like, wonder why, and then you find out why, that your parent was, like said, was stuck in postpartum for like 5 or 6 months after. So they didn't bond with you until after. You're projecting your own fears and limitations onto me. Go deeper within and understand that you are seeing yourself, not me. So again, this person, like I said, projects because of the unhealed, you know, wounds, the baggage. So to the point that they hear everything through the wound, that they don't really feel like they have control over their over their needs and their wants. It's like they live mainly from their addictions. Again, they're impulsive. And I laugh only because it's like this person doesn't think about the consequences. But again, they're like a kid. Like if you give a kid, uh, you let them go into a candy store, they're gonna take every single type of candy, and to the point that they get sick, they're not gonna care. They're not thinking about, oh, I'm gonna be sick. No, they're saying, I want to try that, I want to try that, I'm going to try that. And of course, the eyes are so much bigger than the stomach. I mean, that's what happens. There's no sense of balance because this person isn't coming from their true sense of self. They're actually, even though they're not a child, I use that analogy because this person spiritually is a child. They don't realize that everything that they do has karmic consequences. I don't think this person believed in anything spiritual before. Separated or together, we are working in tandem with each other. So again, there's this spiritual connection that this person feels safe with you. They don't, that doesn't mean that they like what you say. It's, I feel like you say exactly what you mean, and this person doesn't like it when you say it, but they like it because if there's honesty, it's almost like the parent that never was. So that is like this person's like, I don't want to hear like your criticism, but then would they listen to that criticism and then they're like, well, that's, they might even repeat it as if it's their own, you know, like thinking that they're smart, where they're like, well, that makes a lot of sense. Or now I see what you were saying. But when you're talking to them, they have that wall up. So everything's a projection. Everything's a trigger. Everything is that impulse. Everything is like again, but separate. This person thinks about it, and it makes them go deep. And they're like, now I understand. So it's about trust. This person doesn't trust they don't trust themselves, so they cannot possibly trust you. And also, they didn't grow up in that environment. So they've only created really environments that you wouldn't be able to trust because of them. They don't realize that they're the problem. And that's what from severe trauma. I'm beginning to focus on my mission, and our connection is part of that. So I don't know whether this person feels like you're their twin flame and you're going to like save them or help them. And I say that only because I don't really feel like this person's done a lot of healing. However, I feel like in their mind, this awakening is like big doings because they were not a spiritual person. So it's like just the realization for them that somebody is more important than themselves, really, because they were operating from this very low consciousness, um, is a big move. But are they healed enough to say that they're the twin flame? I mean, I feel like this person likes what you do. I feel like they admire you. There's a part of them that wants to emulate you. There's a part of them that is like loves your strength, is like understand they're drawn to everything that they're not. It's like within side of you. But because they're not healed, say that they're more of a karmic mate because it's like jealousy, because of, again, so meaning like I love that, but then over time, like then if I begin to think that I can do it, I begin to think that I'm that person. And then I kind of need you to like settle down. So someone actually like kind of trying to like upstage you, like it becomes like a competition because this person doesn't really have an identity. Like I said, they're coming from like this negative energy. So it's not that there's not love and passion from what this person perceives, yes, but it's that negative energy that we can't ignore, that we want to ignore. It's like, let's pretend it's not there, and it's like we can't because it'll do damage. I feel your energy around me, and I wonder, are you thinking of me too? And I think that you are. And I think that you think about this person often, like, what am I going to do with this person? And so when you're in a good relationship, you don't have to worry, what am I going to do with this person? Because the relationship is actually unfolding. This resistance, this reckless behavior for no apparent reason, it's just unresolved trauma, baggage. It's like, regardless of the love, it's still there, and that's really um, what you know, and then what it does to you. Clear the illusion of the 3D world. Don't take everything at face value. There's a lot more going on spiritually and energetically than you can see. So I feel like this it was what it really was, that this connection was to help you clear your own perceptions of your life, to clear yourself spiritually and energetically of this type of energy that, again, growing up in an environment that didn't make you feel stable, that didn't make you feel safe, that emotionally um, couldn't show up for you because of their own drama, their own trauma. And I say it like that because they create drama that creates a lot of trauma, but it all is rooted in trauma. Um, so again, living by to clean up somebody's mess, where again you give up your life. It's like, but this is what this person would expect because they have people do it for them, but always at their own expense. And it's like the relationship doesn't last because over time it gets boring. And over time, the person that's with them is like, when are you going to show up for me? for the person that's self-sacrifice and self-sacrifice and self-sacrifice and so eventually gets so angry and either tries to sabotage them or tries to hurt themselves, or there's always some sort of drama because they've depleted themselves so much in hoping that this person's going to change their reckless ways, their selfish ways, and stop putting the burdens of fixing themselves, onto other people. Really, because that's what it is. It's like, I don't know how to take care of myself, so I'm going to put it on you. And that could be that the person continually gets sick. You're with the person that continually gets sick, but they don't do things to stay healthy, or they continually lose a job, or they continually like get DWIs, or they continue that there's a sabotaging behavior that makes the relationship not progress. And it's because this person continually sabotages themselves because they're impulsive. Again, and then you can't even talk to them about it. It's like that's the kicker. It's like, trying to even navigate the relationship so you feel a little comfortable and they can't deal with criticism. So again, everything's a trigger on top of it. They're not balanced. Obviously, it wouldn't make you feel balanced. It's all right here. All right here. One more. Union is an energy, not a physical construct. Even when we aren't together, I feel our union. So again, this person is like almost feels like they can feel your spiritual energy. They can feel that there's love. They can feel that there's a connection. So in their mind, they're like, oh, and I've measured up who I think that you are. You're an empath. You're sensitive. So okay, you're gonna get to give to me. You're gonna be my healer. Do they think that? Do they say it like you're gonna be my healer? No, but they're like, oh, you're gonna, I'm gonna date you. But their mind of date is real codependent, it's really imbalanced. But if you're lacking, like what's inside of you, you again obviously would have looked to, like, would have confused this as love, but you are balanced. That's what's frustrating to this person. They can't manipulate, they can only manipulate people that don't invest in themselves. That, you know, this was more about you having to revisit an energy that you grew up with that was very uncomfortable, very unfamiliar, that made you feel certain ways about yourself, not really about this relationship, which is crazy. And then we say again, so what was the point? And that's when we look at your inner child wounds, because it's like, wait a minute, that's the whole relationship. What was the point? It's like really to revisit energy again, how it made you feel, because this person wasn't in a real relationship. They would just like create a lot of drama in your life. And again, it was very disruptive energy in your life. So there was a disruptive type of energy. There was a feeling of not feeling safe, not being able to be grounded because of somebody's impulsive actions, that they're always coming from their lower energy, their addictions, their wants, their desires. This again creates a lot of negativity. Wonder, that's a positive. Hold on. Time and attention. Okay. Overwhelmed. Protection. Imagination. One more. Cleansing. So I feel like the way that again the environment was overwhelming. It didn't make you feel safe or protected. And so, children need time and attention. So when there's drama going on in the house, there's obviously no time and attention given to the child. So there's no support. So support isn't just about, putting food on the table, but emotional support. I feel like it was turbulent in the environment that you grew up in. And I say that because, again, overwhelmed, and also because I see two gifts here. Because in our shadows, we just don't find wounds. We also find our gifts. And so what we see here is uh, three positive cards. We see wonder, we see imagination, and we see cleansing. So what Spirit says is this, you had to go back and revisit this energy to help cleanse it. And you cleanse it through, again, bringing up that emotion and, again, the imagination, but then also replacing it with, again, the wonders of you, the wonders of the world, like what stirs up your soul, like that it's a clean slate, that once you really integrate the spiritual lesson, which you were able to do that because this person coming into your life, they stirred up a lot of feelings. But again, and I think that there was no real thought connected to those feelings. So sometimes, again, what happens is trauma definitely fragments. And so we remember pieces of an experience. We don't remember the entire experience. We remember a feeling sometimes. So again, remember your body is the mind's faithful servant. So it holds on to every trauma. So what Spirit is saying is, again, for this, is that you had deep-seated trauma. And again, and this is the way that it made you feel. So maybe nothing was even happening to you. It was just so tumultuous in your environment. So that would happen from a lot of hearing a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling. It could be from having a very imbalanced parent. It could be from, again, having a mother that drank while they were pregnant with you. It could be from a lot of different things. And remember, back in the day, it was normal for parents to smoke and drink with their kids when they were pregnant. I mean, that changed in the mid 70s. Those commercials started to come on. Hey, don't smoke while you're pregnant. But before then, everybody was walking around pregnant and smoking and pregnant and drinking. Everybody they didn't think about that. They didn't think about those things. That's the way that they dealt with life. So a lot of times we just inherit a lot of um, stress coping mechanisms. But if we're not coming from our true self and we don't really like ourselves, and it's going to show within, our finances, it's going to show it up in a lot of other areas, which creates a lot of problems in the family structure. And in that, the drama of that, the child doesn't feel safe, but they can't run away. They're dependent on, the parents. Even though one parent could be an alcoholic and the other completely screaming at them 24/7. I mean, where they're so caught up in that environment that, you know, like you didn't create yourself. Instead, you couldn't run away, but you went inside of yourself. And so a child will escape through the imagination. So it means that you have very strong manifestation capabilities, where Spirit says it's time for you to revisit that energy and integrate those spiritual lessons, because you keep attracting that type of energy. People that just create drama, people that are jealous, people of a lower vibrational energy. Remember, there's only two energies, love and fear. So you might not get a person that does the same exact thing. But again, someone that comes from a lower consciousness is someone that's like, I always get people that rip me off. I always get people that, take advantage. I always get people that emotionally don't give to me. There's always a karmic theme. So when you don't like that karmic theme, you have to integrate the spiritual lesson. And part of integrating it is not just learning the psychological lesson, but it's to actually do something to transmute that negative energy. Otherwise, that energy is still there, the residue of that energy, meaning that remembrance that it's like again that imprint in our mind is still there because it was traumatic. So it affects, it'll affect your manifestation ability. So what Spirit's saying is like to reparent is to give yourself the time and attention. That's how you get protection. You get protection through giving yourself the time and attention and sinking your energy into, again, the wonders of you, the wonders of the world. That means have a love affair in your life. Go out and have a love affair in your life. That's when you'll open up your third eye. That's when you'll say, oh, this is what I would like to do. Oh, I wound up meeting these people along the way, along my journey that don't think of it as you need to be with one person because what this energy is too dominating. And that energy is so dominating, it means that you really never acknowledged that energy. It's like the trauma. The trauma was significant. So it's again part of really acknowledging it is like you have to go back and experience it. So you did, but then Spirit saying is that well, you don't want to live there just because you experienced it. What did you learn? And Spirit saying like what you should have learned is again that it was chaos. It was so overwhelming that all the time and attention went towards survival. And that's again where you're inside your imagination is really, again, when we detach and disassociate, we are stuck in the fight, flight, freeze. A child can't run away. They're going to go inside themselves. And so, again, what Spirit says, well, now I need you to, again, create yourself. It's again through the wonders of you, the wonders of the world. You don't even know who you are. You don't, never mind. Like, like you never are going to be able to attract anyone because you don't know who you are. And there's too much of that energy left from those traumas, those experiences. So you might be like, well, I've dated other people since. And Spirit says, you wouldn't have been able to handle this type of relationship before. Everything happens in its divine time. So you might have had a few insignificant relationships in between. You might have had one long one, but that Spirit says to help you evolve to the actual level of consciousness that you would have had a fighting chance to actually learn the spiritual lesson, to be able to integrate the spiritual lesson. We live many, many lifetimes. We wouldn't learn everything we needed to learn in one lifetime. But what Spirit is saying is you create your own protection. That's how you cleanse this energy. It's again, it's finding yourself. There was, like I said, that trauma, having too much of that memory, having too much of that emotion, so much stored up emotion because you didn't deal with it. It's like that's why you attracted a person like that into your life because you were like, I didn't really know how to deal with it. I just kind of lived through it. And Spirit says, yes, I know. But what were the spiritual lessons? It wasn't just an experience that happened. Every experience that happens is here to help you grow your soul. So there also had to feel feelings of feeling obviously not safe, feeling of not being loved. Again, where really, until we give ourselves the time and attention, that what happens is that that's when we find our balance. No one then can overwhelm us, right? Because if you're interactive in your own life and you're really having a love affair with your own life and you're discovering the wonders of you and the wonders of the world, you're connecting to different people that are on high vibration also. Well, it's again, you wind up creating a whole new life, and that creates all new neurological pathways in your mind. That's how you're not impulsive or reactive. That's when you're actually able to be balanced. You're not coming from this fear and negative state consciousness, which is what this person is coming from. So that's why it's not that this person doesn't have, again, feelings. They do, but it stirs up a lot of crap and they don't really want to look at it. It was more about Spirit saying, well, now it's time again to leave this alone. And because you got what you needed from it. And it's time to create new, because what Spirit is saying, until you do, you're not going to be able to manifest what you want really, because that's not high vibrational energy when you're attracting that. But you can't attract it unless there's still a reason. So you might say, well, I've already forgiven. And Spirit says, yeah, but you haven't really fully embodied that energy. You detached from it, part of it. It's still held within your energy body. So on a spiritual and energetic level, things are happening. And it's all about clearing you. So it's not going to logically make sense to you because it's a spiritual thing. It's just like I know, just like when you get a download, a lot of times you can't go into work and say, you know what, I got a download from Spirit. Someone will look at you like you're a Fruit Loop, but you know what that means. You know when you get like that hunch. So it's kind of like it's like that is more of that deep internal knowing. Faith. I am confident I will achieve my goals. I live in the present and have faith in the future. I firmly believe in my value within the universe. So the Spirit saying it's not about being with this person because that'll take you right down the shitter. It's about putting your energy with yourself. Because when that's by saying that you have faith, because nothing can stop you, only you can stop you. And it wouldn't be you stopping you from you getting in your own way, but by somebody getting in your own way, or someone trying to take what's yours, try to steal the spotlight or utilize it for what they feel like they could utilize it for. So it would be keeping you stuck in this, like chaos energy and being overwhelmed instead of like saying, no, I'm going to choose peace, and I'm going to, choose faith, and I'm going to like keep consistent to my dreams, keep putting the effort into the things that I want to grow within my life. That's the faith that I need to show and display. I need to be consistent. I need to be consistent, and I need to believe, and I need to, maybe emotionally balance once in a while if again you get emotionally triggered. But aside from that, you just need to learn to take care of yourself right now and have faith. And that's hard if you, again, grew up in an environment that taught you like it wasn't safe. It was so overwhelming that you couldn't find your process. Where Spirit says it's like, it's about releasing that energy now and then finding your process through finding you. And then you're able to attract everything that you want. It's not going to be fragmented. Where this person, like you, they're really fragmented. But Spirit said, I needed it to be that way for you to, awaken to your worth, to realize like how you're living when you're living in fear like that from being so overwhelmed in your environment, not feeling safe. All right, I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you like this style. Don't know who I channeled today, but I mean, it's always somebody different, I guess. Different style. Tune in later where I'm going to do a live stream. I don't know when, so you'll have to have your bell on, but you'll always have an opportunity to ask me questions if you're on when I'm on. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.